Thursday, the 20th of October, and you're listening to the GameGrin Grincast. I'm your host, Hamiltonius, and joining me tonight are Ace.
Hello.
Cal.
Hello.
And Ebsy.
Hello.
And we've got a podcast full of firsts today. It's been quite a momentous week for video games, and we'll be tackling the big topics head on, or the big releases. But the first one is, fittingly enough, Battlefield 1, which comes out tomorrow, which could be today when you're listening. Who knows? Maybe you're playing it right now. In which case, stop playing and listen to the Grincast. But yes, it comes out tomorrow.
I like how you assume that gamers can't multitask. Isn't that the very definition of being a gamer?
No, that's hand-eye coordination.
I find that I can't play something and listen to something unrelated.
There we go.
What?
I have to focus on one or the other.
But yeah, Battlefield 1, it's good.
It comes out tomorrow for those who didn't throw extra money.
I have played it. Because
Awesome.
I'm reviewing it. Spoilers.
Do you fancy that?
Is it good?
Yes.
Is it history accurate, though?
They have surprised me with how, I tweeted about it actually, how mature they've been in tackling the subject matter. They've been extremely mature about it.
Haha, you've been mature.
But they haven't, when they first announced it, I was a bit apprehensive because I thought, it's a very, not that war isn't serious, but it's an especially serious war, especially in the consciousness of lots of Europeans. But they don't glorify it. They pretty much take every chance they can get to show that it's an awful, horrible war and that no one is really enjoying it. Everyone hates it, and that's no more is that typified than the introductory mission where you play. It says basically you're not expected to survive this mission, so every time you die during that mission, it zooms out to a different person and superimposes a person's name on the screen, and when they were born and when they died, to sort of add to the seriousness of it. They do kind of remove that by later in the campaign giving you the usual superhero person you play as who mows down
G.I. Joe
guys. Yeah, but the thoughts there. And even with the multiplayer, they still go out of their way to make things seem a lot more gritty than usual.
Yeah,
That actually sounds good.
It's really like I've been playing the vast majority of the multiplayer over the past few days, but there's a mode called Operations, and it's essentially attacking and defending mode, but it's got a sort of a story to it, sort of explaining the battles and the side of war where.
Yeah.
It's like where your cross is at first we must capture this area territory, push the past, or move forward and do this. And it's really fucking like nerve-wracking and intense because if you run like if your team loses, you get another couple of chances at it. Yeah. But it's still pretty awesome actually.
So the mode basically combines the staple two modes of Battlefield games, which is Rush and Conquest, combines the size of the map in Conquest mode, which has 64 players on it, plus the sector control of Rush. And what it does is basically these operations are based on real conflicts and operations that happen towards the end of the war. There's two in France, one in Italy, and one in the Middle East. I assume there'll be more with DLC, with the French and the Russians and that.
I would imagine there would be.
Each one has an introduction, depending on which side you're playing as, saying like what's at stake, and it's got a little bit of a personal touch to it. You hear different soldiers' voices talking about it. And then, you're basically given a briefing of, we've got to hold this ground. If we don't, then we'll move back. And if your team loses the entire thing, it's because it switches maps a few times. If your team loses the entire thing, there's even a little outro where the narrator will go on about what might have happened if the non-historical ending happened.
Yeah, sort of ends like one can only think what would happen if this sort of thing happened, like if the enemy team lost or if you won, which was not actually part of how the history was told. So it's very cleverly done.
Yeah.
It's also still got obviously because it's still Battlefield, you still got the nuisances of irritating players and squads don't work together, or you've got a squad you keep saying requesting orders, and he doesn't fucking give you orders. Yeah, it's still Battlefield.
Yeah, there's still a few little teething problems. Tanks are still incredibly powerful, despite people moaning about them in the beta. But I think that's a fair enough point, really, for them to keep tanks being really powerful, since there can only be like 2 of them on a map at the same time usually.
It's not as bad from my time with it. It's not been that bad because a lot of because obviously you don't really have to unlock a massive majority of weapons. You got quite a fair amount of equipment straight away. So if you're playing an assault, you can already use the AT rocket launcher. You can already use the bundle of grenades to take out tanks. The snipers have all got secondary ammunition to cause damage. It's all about teamwork, though. You have to work together to destroy these tanks because they're so well armored.
Unfortunately, even for Battlefield, there's often not a lot of teamwork going on.
No.
You can sometimes you'll be playing one of these operation modes, and the attackers in these operation modes get 3 or 4 chances, and every time they lose, they get another chance, and they get back up in the form of one of the super weapons. I believe we've talked about before on the podcast. But if one team is working together and the other team isn't, they can pretty much steamroll through the entire thing without even trying. But I think enough of the 6 minutes of me and Carl just waxing lyrical. I don't know whether Ace or MC, you've got any questions about it that you want to ask, or to sort of explore in more detail things we might not have mentioned.
No. Although, to be honest, it sounds more interesting than I thought it would be. Like, generally, obviously you're a bit of a history fanatic, so that the fact that you feel that it's historically accurate and mature makes it a lot more appealing to me, because I like that sort of thing, where it's not just kind of mindless shooting crap with no gumption or anything behind it. So it sounds really interesting.
I mean, there are a few, like there are far too many submachine guns and semi-automatic rifles, but I've sort of putting that behind me now because they've impressed me so much with how they've approached it, really.
Yeah, it's at that border point, because you can either go to the point, like a good example is another game that came out on PS4. It's been on PC for ages, but it came out on PS4, but it's Verdun, and that's another World War One shooter, and that's probably a bit closer to how it was if you want to actually really experience that frightful war. But that was mostly trench warfare. That was bolt rifles. Very few machine guns. Like, there were proper heavy machine guns that you couldn't really move around or run around a battlefield using. So it was trying to be a bit more dark, gritty. This one, yeah, go on.
Do the weapons jam? How realistic?
No, they don't jam. They do in Verdun, but not in Battlefield 1. I think it's because it's the line between realism and annoying 12-year-olds, basically.
They are, though, very cleverly, like when you play as a medic, for example, you use semi-automatic rifles, and they're not weapons that you can fire constantly. You actually have to be quite accurate with them, because some of the weapons are awful in their accuracy.
They've got some very bad recoil, essentially.
And
so that your aim will jump around the screen if you try and fire wildly at people.
Yeah, and the LMGs and assault rifles, or the SMGs, you can actually, because there's very limited customization, you can't just put a grip and a sight on it. You've got certain variants of weapons, but you can also change the recoil directions, or whether you can have it centered, or whether it drifts to the left, or if it drifts to the right. So that's sort of a personal sort of preference.
There's also one nice little touch I reckon I saw when I was playing. If you your gun will, if you lie prone, or you crouch, or you run through undergrowth or something like that, your gun will get dirty. And then if you walk through water with your gun, it'll be clean when you come back out again, which is
cool.
Interesting. But annoyingly, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if you go underwater, it jams." But no, it doesn't, which would be even better.
Some of the attention to detail is really nice.
It doesn't jam, but can you fire underwater?
No.
Oh, good.
You can. That's one. You can dive under the water to avoid people shooting at you as well. But I think when you are treading water, you can use your pistol, but you can't use your primary weapon.
It's still,
Yeah,
got
it's really
this, still got the silly battlefield things. Like you can, one of the behemoths is a giant zeppelin, and you can spawn on top of it and run around on the top of the zeppelin, and then jump off it if you wanted to. so they're still trying to do the big old battlefield moment.
Sorry, behemoth?
The behemoths are what the super weapons are. If an enemy team is losing, they will get backed up by what they call behemoths. So you've got a zeppelin that flies over the map, and you've also got a train that comes storming through, or you've got a boat, big massive boat,
big old dreadnought.
Mm.
Yeah,
not a big rowboat.
Big rowboat.
No. I haven't played much. I've been trying to get as much into the single player as I can as well. And again, I'm actually surprised at how in depth the single player is for a game that was 70%, maybe 80% for multiplayer. It's split up into different geographical sections, like the operations. So there's a British tank driver, there's an Italian pilot, I believe. There's Lawrence of Arabia, and an American, I believe, as well. Probably more with DLC, like the French and Russians. But there's also, you're incentivized to play the single player because there are collectibles, and there are also you can pick up customizable pieces for your multiplayer weapons by playing the single player, like you could in Bad Company, I believe. So that gives people a reason to play it. Also, one thing I will mention as well is that when I wrote an article a while ago about Battlefield 1 and historical accuracy and stuff, and I put in there that it would be nice if the game included a codex or an encyclopedia for people to read. And there is one.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, there is one.
You collect codex cards as you play the game, and then you can read the history behind the tanks, events, people, weapons, things like that in the codex.
Yes, it's about like certain the weapons you use in the battles you fight. So if you fight in a town, what are the towns in France? I can't remember what it's called now.
Cambrai?
Yeah, one of those. Any of the particular map you get. First time you play on that map, you get a codex about the history of the battles that took place, or what occurred during the war. No Blackadder references, though.
Not so far.
No.
No Flash.
Sorry.
No.
Couldn't help myself.
I think I've gone through it all, really. I think there's.
Have I thrown you again with my singing? You get so easily thrown by singing.
No, I just mean I think Cal and I have gone through pretty much everything to do with it.
Yeah, there's no Captain Darling. This is unfortunate, but
no.
Oh well.
There's some rather posh British voices around, which is nice.
Well, I like it because I was some of the operations, like it's American, British, or Austro-Hungarian as well, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah. I was surprised you could do one with the Italians and Austro-Hungarians, to be honest.
Yeah. But then they sort of do their little voiceover, like, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to take them down, but then it's got sort of changes to, like, you got the young, the old, and then you got a couple of Scottish geezers in there as well. So it's quite the Americans are probably a bit cringy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they just sound really American.
Well, it's to emphasise the fact they're like new to the war, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably why the game has to be set in 18, because that's when the Yanks turned up. But also another thing about those voiceovers, if you are playing as the Germans, Italians, Austro-Hungarians, or the Ottomans, the voiceover is in Arabic, German, or Italian.
Mm-hmm. They're in their native language.
So that's cool. No hamming up of the accents.
No bad voices. Big voices.
I was going to attempt one then, and I just no.
Ha ha ha! Baguette garlic.
That'll be the DLC.
Although they do, like, when it shows over the battlefield, where it says we're going to capture this point and then capture this point, it is in English. So if they're German, it's because we must capture this point and over here. So it does kind of sound pretty bad.
Yeah, but
that was a fantastic accent.
It was fantastic for, like, Dad's Army.
Yeah.
We will win the war.
My godfather, Heimlich Himmler.
Oh dear. Yeah, there's some odd little things that like confuse me every now and again. With like, there are some oddly futuristic weapons, as in like, well, I say futuristic, like weapons that were
Lasers.
produced in the 10s or 20s by that point. There's a section in the single player where you play as a tank driver and you have to get out and direct the tank around in some fog, and this pistol has the equivalent of a laser sight on the back of it, which was, I think they used refractory glass or something like that to simulate it, but at the same time it was a bit odd having like an old-timey pistol with these green sights plastered on them.
Yeah, you can change the iron sights on some of the rifles that has that. It's quite distracting, actually. There's a lot of experimental weapons. Even the description says it's an experimental gun. There's a rifle which switches between. It uses pistol ammunition, so it's a bolt rifle, and it's really nice. The animation, very nicely detailed. So he pulls the whole bolt out, and then puts this another bolt clip in it, which has a pistol sort of clip on it, and then he pulls that off, and then puts a bolt back in to change the ammunition. So it's a lot of experimental, or they made.
And they also have the tiniest gun in history as well. The tiniest handgun ever made. I believe I put that GIF on our Discord, on the GameGrin Discord. I think you saw it, didn't you, Ace?
I love that. This is such a good little gun.
A little tiny golden gun that fits in between your index finger and your thumb.
Yes, I saw that.
It's a real gun.
Or 'twas.
Probably still get it.
I think. Like I said, we've gone on about this. So I'll shift it over in a minute to the next big reveal. But in between, I just want to have a quick 2-minute chat because Civ 6 comes out tomorrow as well. Yay!
That's crept up rather quickly.
Yeah, and it looks great.
I'm genuinely a bit shocked that I didn't realise that it was out tomorrow.
You'll be double happy.
Is it still like 60 quid?
Yeah, it's really expensive for what it is.
It's looking good though. I mean, I like the new art style they've taken with it. They've sort of kept the same sort of feel, but made it a bit more stylistic.
It's not. They changed the voiceovers as well, and it's not. It was Leonard Nimoy, wasn't
Sean
it?
Bean now.
Sean Bean. Winter's coming. I bet if it goes through the history, and there is going to be a bit where
hope there's not no two ever.
Winter is coming. He will say that.
Probably will be.
As an Easter egg.
Something like you research fur clothing or something. Yeah, Civ 6, great. Although to be honest, I probably won't pick it up until it's on sale. Precautionary. Got enough games coming out or being revealed this week without having Civ 6 thrown into the mix. Ooh, rhyme. Anyway, going to move on to the next big Twitter-breaking reveal. It was this week, wasn't it, that Rockstar tweeted their cryptic picture that wasn't so cryptic and sent everyone into meltdown?
Yeah, I think it was Monday, wasn't it? It was Monday.
I think it was Monday. Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, they posted another picture of a load of cowboys walking into the sunset, and people got even more hyped.
It's my new wallpaper.
And people started guessing what the title would be for this anticipated sequel to Red Dead Redemption. And it turned out to be Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
It has so much room for manoeuvre.
And it turned out to be console only.
Yes. Which is, I would
I have to get a console.
I plan to get a PS4 anyway, so I'm alright.
Well, they've said it is console only, but they've also said in their sort of info thing, because it's getting PlayStation 4 exclusive content for the multiplayer, and it's even says built exclusively, well, not exclusively, but built for the PlayStation 4 platform. It's the primary target console.
I reckon they're just going to pull a bait and switch. It's going to be they're going to make everyone really angry, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, sign this petition to make Red Dead Redemption on PC," and then they'll be like, "Yeah, well, it's coming out about 6 to 8 months after the original release."
I hope it does anyway. I mean, the reason why Red Dead Redemption 1 never came out on PC...
It's because Rockstar know that they can get people to buy 2 copies of the same game.
They will, yes, like me.
Or 3, if someone had a 360 and then an Xbox One and then a PC.
Well, truth be told, I did actually triple dip in GTA 5.
Oh my.
But no,
You're what's wrong with this industry, Cal.
I am
Really
awful.
are.
I'm awful. I got them on discount though, so I was quite pleased. The reason why Red Dead Redemption never came out, well, will never come out on PC, is because apparently Rockstar had such an awful time developing it. It's not actually made by the main Rockstar team. It was made by Rockstar San Diego. And they were trying to make big improvements and some changes to the engine from GTA 4. And it just fucked them up, really. The code was incredibly bad. And that's why the Xbox 360 version is the superior one compared to the PS3.
That bodes well for the for Red Dead Redemption 2, which is made by the same team as Red Dead Redemption 1.
Well, yeah, they're working together now.
They specifically stated that, and so if the code was a mess and this and that, then
No, it's because they were the Rage engine, which was used in GTA 4, was built and made by Rockstar North. They were trying to upgrade the engine, making improvements to it, but they were having such a difficult time because they didn't have a long development time to make. So now that they've now finalized this new awesome engine with GTA 5, the new whatever engine 2.0, that's what they're now going to be building on and using that. And
well,
I think it looks so good on PC, the Rage engine, GTA 5.
what I think is absolutely hilarious are people up in arms. I'm never going to buy it if it doesn't come on PC. Yeah, that's because you don't have a console. So obviously you're never going to buy it.
The trouble as well is if you look at GTA 5, and they've even said already there's going to be exclusive multiplayer content, and there's going to be massive, like, not only a focus on the single player, but there's also going to be a focus on the multiplayer, because look out how much money GTA 5 brings in for Rockstar.
Let me take you back to a couple of years ago when Rise of the Tomb Raider was announced as exclusive on the Xbox One. And a few days later, oh, no, it's timed exclusive.
Oh yeah, 2 times. It's like the Destiny bollocks when they said exclusive PlayStation 4 stuff. It's just timed.
Well, to be honest, we had a discussion about this on earlier, but I quite like the idea of. I don't mind it being online. I know it's a massive cash cow for Rockstar, but that gives them an incentive to make the online side of it even better. I mean, I enjoy the heists from I enjoyed the heists from GTA 5, and if you could imagine extrapolating that and putting it into a Wild West scenario, imagine like having to do like a train robbery with like 4 of your friends on horseback, trying to chase down a train or things like that. It sounds awesome.
Well, I enjoy.
It does sound awesome.
It does.
Yeah. Well, out of GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption, when I was playing Red Dead, I played the shit out of the multiplayer because there was actual. Like, it was free for all, so you could go around and kill one another. Fair enough. You can fuck around with whatever you want. But if you had gang hideouts located around the map, so there were AI-controlled areas, so you could run up to that player and encounter other players online, and you could either betray them, or you could work together and clear the gang hideout out and get the rewards at the end. Then kill one another. So it was a lot of fun. Have any of us actually seen the trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched it earlier.
Yeah, I watched it on GameGrin.com. Yeah.
That's reputable site full of information and breaking news.
Wonderfully written news piece by our very own Ace Lister.
Good man. So I only got the...
He's a right gem, that one.
I don't remember writing that.
I only just got the chance when I got back like an hour ago.
Looks great.
Cal, what you were just saying about the multiplayer for the first one,
Yes.
that's exactly why I'm not interested in this new game. Because there's going to be a huge multiplayer load of content, and it involves player versus player.
It does.
It's like, I know other people are better at this game. I don't need to go onto a multiplayer server and get killed by everyone. I know they could kill me if they wanted to.
Well, the thing is that I reckon that with GTA 5, the map is so massive that you can avoid other players quite easily, and I imagine it'd be the same with Red Dead Redemption 2. That if you wanted to, you could just jump on a horse and ride out into the outback and not see another player, but still do the online content.
You do get. I mean, you still get the individual game modes, so you can still matchmake and play sort of team deathmatch or capture maps. But if you want to just free roam, they do have a passive mode, so you can turn on passive mode. This is the same. This was the same in the first Red Dead and in GTA 5. So you just activate passive mode, and no one can kill you. Even gives you the option if you die like 5 times in a row from other players, and you haven't retaliated, then it asks you if you want to turn passive mode on.
What do you say to that, Ace?
I say there's still several modes that I'm never going to touch because it's player versus player.
Fine.
I'm not buying a game that I'm not going to play every single part of, or at least most of it.
What if surely there's still a very robust single player though?
I hope I don't want them to
Dragon
combine
Age
it.
Inquisition's got multiplayer, and I've never played that because there's no point because there's so much content for single player.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that game.
Also, I don't like player versus player very much unless it's World of Warcraft and I have friends playing with me. That sounds wrong. But yeah.
We're just talking about multitasking, MZ.
Shut up.
Well, I mean, Mass Effect 3's got quite a critically acclaimed multiplayer, but no fucker plays it. So, yeah,
let's just wait for it to go down in monies.
let's actually talk about the trailer. I assume everyone's seen the trailer. So, what do people think about the graphics? It looks pretty damn good. What do people think may be a feature in the game from the about 20 to 30 good shots of gameplay you could see in the trailer?
Cow herding.
That's all you need.
Yeah. I think if they are going to go like what they did with GTA 5, because that's got so much optional stuff to do, and I think you would probably get a job do some cow herding, or you could like get a carriage, be a taxi driver. I'm
intrigued by the screenshot of the guy camping with his horses. Well, not a screenshot, but you know what I mean. Is that something you could do when you're outside, maybe to pass the time? You set up camp. Maybe a camp can get raided by people. And also, we want to see how big the map is as well, because if it's, I wonder how big it will be. Whether it be GTA 5 sized or much bigger.
I can't imagine that it's gonna be the same. I imagine they probably go bigger just because they kind of have to, because GTA is 2 years old now.
Problem with making it bigger is you're on a horse.
Yeah.
If you're in a race car in GTA 5, it still takes you 10 minutes to go from one end of the map to the other.
Yeah, but they might have some sort of fast travel thing.
They probably will. Yeah.
I really think they'll go bigger.
Fast travel though.
You can fast travel.
But I still think that they will make it bigger.
You can grab a carriage and then, like, tell the carriage.
It's still not going to go 200 miles an hour, is it?
No, but what you can do, you can either wait or you can tell the driver to skip, and then your character just says, "I'm going to take a nap," and he just goes to sleep, and then you wake up and you're there.
Yeah, but you just know there's going to be a timed quest that it sees you have to get to the other end of the map in 5 minutes, and it's a 20-minute drive. Ride.
I'd rather it be probably maybe the same size as the first Red Dead map, but more dense.
I think you can go too
big. Yeah.
I think, I'd agree with you there, Carl. I think if it gets too big, that's something that puts me off open world games these days. Is that I go, oh god, I got to go where?
You agree with Cal? I'm the one who's been against getting it bigger.
Well, both of you then.
Bastard.
Why are you not agreeing with me? I don't want to be the only one left out.
I agree with everyone. But it was amazing that has meant that I haven't gone back to playing The Witcher 3 because I got into the larger area and just went, oh god, it's too big.
But they've done it so well. They've done it so well with the travelling, but using the travel signs. The travel signs? I have lost words. The signposts. Yeah.
I actually think they're too spread out.
I haven't even played it.
Really?
I can't be
And
bothered to
I
go
knew
between
it
them.
was a signpost.
You are lazy as crap, Alex. Honestly, they've done it so well in The Witcher. I think it's brilliant.
Meh.
It could be too much, in my opinion. I think the first one as well actually had a Mexico side and a American side. So I hope they maybe still keep that in. So you go to Mexico. That'd be awesome. But I'd rather it be more dense, more detailed than just, open cowboy wasteland or Mexican sort of desert.
Not like Just Cause, for example, which is just a map full of nothing.
Yeah, you get to blow up shit, but it just get a bit boring after a while. Just Cause. Just Cause.
There wasn't no confirmation of being able to tie people up to railroad tracks, but hopefully that can still be in there. There's a quick shot of a Wild West town as well, looking pretty nice, handy dandy.
I suspect they will release maybe next year. We probably won't get anything now because it said fall 2017. So I doubt we won't get much now. But they might do it like they did with the GTA 5 series and some other previous games as well, where they do sort of big introduction and then they talk about the world and what can happen, what you can do, and then that's when we'll get the real gameplay look.
Ooh,
exciting!
Yeah. Anything else anyone wants to add about Red Dead Redemption 2?
I've not played the first one.
Neither have I.
Oh, thank God for that. I've just realised that I have a PlayStation 3 and it's like a $5 in shops that you can buy it in.
Buy it.
So I'm thinking I might buy it.
It's also got a credible story to it as well.
I wonder if PlayStation 3 emulators are up to date enough that I could just get an emulator on my PC.
If that was possible...
Don't you have a 360?
No.
Pretty sure PlayStation 3 and 360 don't do commercial games yet.
Nah. You can... Well, I suppose if you've had an Xbox One, it's one of the backwards compatible titles. But we don't have Xbox Ones, do we?
No, because they're shit.
There's the answer to that, then.
Very partisan speak.
Well, I hadn't.
There is a
sworn for the whole
PS3
podcast.
emulator.
But I doubt it only... I bet it plays like one or two games. Or gets to the start menu.
Mm-mm.
Link me it.
The Dolphin emulator.
Why? You said you've got a PS3.
Yeah, but I have to plug it in and stuff.
The Dolphin emulator was recently updated so that every single commercial game will load in it without any errors.
Red Dead didn't come out on it.
No, but it's taken them like 5 years to get to that state.
I would imagine emulating a PS3 would be really difficult, considering its hardware. I can imagine an Xbox 360 one coming out and people using that. I like to imagine a lot of things.
All right, Cal. Calm down.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I think have we exhausted cowboy talk, or does anyone got anything else to want to add?
There's a snake
There's
in my
not been
book.
a good Western film out for a while.
The Magnificent Seven just came out. Not long came out.
Oh, did it?
Good
My
Western.
bad.
Oh, all right, yeah, okay. Let's scrap that then, yeah, because Alex said good Western.
Hateful Eight.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
I've not seen it. I've not seen a good Western in a long time. Is what
Hateful
I
Eight
should
and
have
Django
said.
Unchained. Just watch the two.
I've
Quentin
seen
Tarantino
Django
ones.
Unchained. That's a great film.
I won't be. Actually, is that a Western? I guess it is a Western.
Yeah.
It's considered one, yeah. I feel like though you could still do the same sort of scenario, same sort of characters in the modern day, and it would still be a good film. It's just because it's a Western.
Mm.
It's slightly different.
You could just watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Mm.
Yeah. That it? Okay. On to the... Well, depending on who you ask, the biggest reveal that's happened this week that completely trumped the other two, considering at one point both the topics were our main topic. Nintendo have announced a new console today with a trailer for. It's no longer the Nintendo NX. It's now the Nintendo Switch.
Switch. Hey, hey, do 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 do.
Just like the Will Smith song. Is that actually how it goes? That little doodly doo? I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Sorry, would you like to sing it in competition?
No.
Feel free.
So Nintendo unveiled their new console today, and just like what a lot of people guessed by the leaks, it was a portable one you could take out of a dock and wander around with, because Nintendo don't do conventional consoles. Despite that, the trailer featured someone playing Skyrim on the little portable pad, and I believe NBA 2K something was playing on there as well. So Nintendo's come out and said they come out with a statement that they will be having third-party support. I believe the console's also built by, or its graphics setup is built by NVIDIA. Yes, it's a bit of a weird one. You can take the two sides of the portable screen come apart to create controllers that are maybe about half the size of a Wiimote. With no hint of price or battery life for it yet, but it will come out in March. So from unveiling it to release, only 5 months.
I can only imagine, right, that someone is going to think that's the best thing ever, because you know that time where you're playing a game and you just pop to the loo, just go to the toilet for some time. So that'd be perfect. You're in the middle of playing Zelda and you think, gotta go. Take it away and continue it on the loo for half an hour.
Quite good for parents as well. I can imagine if I was playing a game and Jacob woke up or something, and I just thought he wanted to chill out and calm down for a little bit. If he was upset, I could go take it with me and show him the game. He'd really love that. It'd be really handy for just taking him out for walks. He's not a dog. That sounds wrong. What's wrong with me today? Great for parents, yo.
Yeah, I thought about that after, because my initial reaction was, oh, that's really cool. I really like the innovation in it. It's a really cool concept. Don't think I'll buy it. But then I was talking to a friend of mine, and he mentioned about how it'd be perfect for kids in the back of a car, for example.
Yeah.
Or like the example you just gave, just showing your kids are because kids are obsessed with tablets at the minute, and what they've essentially created is a tablet with the power of a console.
Problem is, though, the controller comes apart and slides on either side. Those slidey runner bits are going to get full of crumbs, sticky fingers, chocolate, if you give it to kids.
And not to mention those
there'll be all kinds of cases, I'm sure.
Fun cons, I think they're called, the controllers, or something like that, isn't it? I think they're called Fun Cons.
Joy-Con.
Joy-Con, there we go.
Okay, I was going to say, that's very close to the company Funcom, who produced The Longest Journey, just saying.
Yeah, those things are going to get lost straight away as well.
I was going to say that. You're going to
given
lose
how small they are.
But
at least one of them will be lost.
A lot of the time, you when you are playing games, if you are a parent, if you want to play a game, you will often have to kind of separate yourself off and sit yourself in a certain area. But I could go out and sit in the garden, and Jacob could play in the paddling pool, and I could still play games, or I wouldn't be restricted to, when I want to play games, to having to sit at my desk. I say desk, it's my chest of drawers, but whatever. I wouldn't have to sit in one specific place. I'd be able to move around. And honestly, I think it's why I'm this is the first time I would have been considering buying a Nintendo console in a very, very long time.
Well, they've done themselves a big favour. They've announced some of the companies they're working with. You've got your obvious ones, Telltale Games, TT Games, because those get released on mobile phones, THQ Nordic, Sega, Konami, and then there's the big surprise from the video, Bethesda. It was running
Ubisoft as well.
Skyrim on it.
Ubisoft, Warner Brothers is in there as well. Activision, which seems to imply Call of Duty.
I'd imagine, yeah, without a doubt, Call of Duty will come onto it. They
Konami.
attempted it with the Vita. This
I
could
mean,
actually be
it's
replacing
really
the Vita.
branching out for them. Like, I'm really impressed because it's all quite restricted, especially with the Wii and the Wii U. There was nothing really on there that you'd want to play unless you were getting drunk and wanted to play Mario Party. But like now, branching out like this, it opens up so much more for them, and it makes it a console that you'd actually want to buy because it's does not limiting you, and it's not just specific casual games. You can play real games on it. I think it's brilliant.
Just seen EA as well. I completely missed the EA logo in there. They're working with EA as well.
There's
That's
also
amazing.
Take-Two Interactive.
Take-Two,
Yeah.
Atlas as well. So the Persona games and that lot going to be on there. So, but it is essentially their play of, Nintendo have always been big about filling their niche. But I think with the Wii and the Wii U, they've sort of seen how much people want third-party support. It's how that third-party support will come, with how good the graphics will be, for example, whether it will have the problem that the Wii and the GameCube had, that third-party games are always a bit poor on that console, or a bit dumbed down or slimmed down. Another issue is also how because the controllers are a bit finicky, to say the least, and it does have its own handheld controller proper. Like, I don't know how you would describe it, but again, like whether that'll put people off, and also the idea of downgrading the screen from, if you're playing on like a 40-inch TV or a 50-inch TV, and then on 4K, for example, and then picking up the screen, what's going to happen to the downsizing of the graphics? How's that going to work with engines and the battery life for the tablet, and even more price point? We don't even know what the price would be. We'd imagine cheaper than the current consoles, but you don't know.
Sorry, a minute ago I mentioned Take-Two Interactive. That's the reason I mentioned that one specifically is because they're the ones who are going to be publishing Red Dead Redemption 2, aren't they?
Yeah, with Rockstar.
Yeah. And at the end of the trailer, that was released for Red Dead Redemption 2, an hour after the Switch announcement, it doesn't list what it is coming out on. I don't know whether that's worth noting.
There was a call on the Reddit thread for the reveal for Red Dead Redemption 2. The person was just saying, imagine the scenes if it was announced for the Switch but not the PC.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
on top of that, it is going to come to the Switch.
Which you can imagine, but then at the same time, you think if they can fit their engine around a console that comes apart, surely they can put it on a PC.
Well,
the thing I'm also curious about is the processor, or the graphics chip, is being made by NVIDIA, and it's obviously going to be based off their mobile chip that's been used in the Shield console and the Shield tablet. So if it's going to be a pretty powerful custom chip, I would probably imagine NVIDIA doing a next generation Shield tablet with similar functionality. Where it's going to be because that's going to be designed, it'd probably be an Android tablet, but considering there's so many good Windows tablets out these days, they could knock out a Windows tablet version and then advertise to say, play your Steam games on the go. And it'd be like the Switch, but for Steam. And then you buy the NVIDIA dock, your TV.
So I'm looking at the specs now, and here's an interesting
the leaked
quote.
Ones.
An interesting quote. No, from NVIDIA. And the interesting quote that I'm going to pull out here. It says they're using the Tegra processor, which it says is the same architecture as the world's top-performing GeForce, blah, 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 blah. The fully custom software includes its own revamped physics engine, as well as libraries and advanced game tools such as APIs. Its own physics engine. Does that imply a different sort of power to current generations?
Well, most games use Havoc, don't they? Havoc
It
physics.
does say they're working with Havoc in the third party thing as well.
Then again,
Obviously,
Nvidia,
it's all speculation. We've only seen one trailer, but
it could refer to, because Nvidia they own PhysX, so they could create a customized lower sort of API version of PhysX. It's not as demanding for the Switch platform, so they can have games that have quite high quality and detailed physics using the physics system, whatever the fucking want to call it, fucking Nvidia. But that would be pretty cool. I'd like to see like a tech demo or actually see it in action, because all we've got so far is just some smiley, cheerful, happy actors pretending to play.
Well, yeah, and with the some images superimposed on top. Speaking of the smiley, happy actors and them all having fun and socialising, this was something that our infrequent contributor to the podcast James talked to me about earlier today, when he said that the idea that excites him the most is the ability to take the console out of the dock, take it around a friend's house, and then immediately have a local multiplayer, just to pass around the table, or if you're out drinking at a friend's house, just bring it round with some controllers, and then there you go, you've got yourself an instant local multiplayer hub for things like Jackbox maybe that you get on Steam.
The video does show two of them side by side and 4 players gathered around them. It's at least implying that there's going to be you could link up 2 switches to have multiple people play.
Well, I wonder what the max is. Could you have 4 switches going? 8 switches going?
I imagine it's 2 per console.
Yeah, two control. It's 2 players per console, but I wonder how many consoles you can link.
I would say 4. Because if you notice, there's a bit where they're playing Mario Kart, and there's this split screen. So there's one guy's using one of the little controllers, and another guy's using the other little controllers. So then you've got other people with their own little switches, and they can all link their 4 switches together.
No, there's a part of the video takes place at a ESL, a sport esport thing.
Oh yeah.
There's 4 players playing against each other, each on their own switch, and then those 4 go against another team of 4. So that's 8 players, 8 switches.
Yeah, but that's not any different from having
presumably
all these consoles set up.
Presumably, you can have 8 switches connected to each other and 2 players on each, maybe.
Well, that's probably closer to how it is with esport gaming, with like the PlayStation and the Xbox. You're going to have 10 consoles all hooked up, and then they're all going to be playing locally. I meant like if you're out and about, and you've got like, oh yeah, let's play Super Smash Brothers, or let's play Mario Kart. So you've got 8 people who all want to play Mario Kart. But you've only got 4 switches, so you can link those 4 switches together, and each 2 person has got a split screen. And obviously the little Switch controller, you see that one guy is using one half and another guy is using another half. There you go. Got 8 people playing Mario Kart. Basically it says you need more friends.
Well, who's going to buy one?
It depends on the price.
Yeah.
I would like to. I really would.
I would like to as well.
What price point do you think it would be at, and what is your maximum price point for buying it?
I think the most that I would be willing, like the biggest, the highest price would probably be $399, $400, and that would be really pushing it.
400.
I think it's going to be released closer to $250. But
yeah, that's the figure.
I'd be happy with that.
I will not go to $200 with that. Not with my kids.
Even the PlayStation 4 Pro is $300. I can't imagine them matching that price. They've got to do it lower, or they could do what they did with the Wii U and have 2 bundles. So they've got a white one and a black one. You've got like a 32 gig model and a 64 gig model. One's 190 quid and the other's 250. I'd imagine them doing something like that. So there's me imagining again. Why do I keep saying that? Stop drinking.
They have traditionally tried to undercut on price because they release a different cycle than the other two, don't they? So
Uses cartridges now as well.
yeah,
The return of cartridges.
game cards. Well, they're not really cartridges, are they? They're basically like DS game cards, but a little bit bigger. Which is interesting
That's
when you think
much more
about some
convenient.
massive games that have to come on those little cards.
I've had it'd probably be some crazy, amazing technology that Nvidia and Nintendo have made. Like they hold like 10 gigs of data or something like that, so enough to fit a game. But if the console itself has only got 32 gigs of storage, then and you're going to get patches and you're going to get updates, that's going to just fill up your space well quickly. I mean, 500 gig hard drive didn't last long on a PlayStation.
No.
Well, the consoles being released now are terabyte, so it's going to be at least terabyte.
I can't imagine it being a terabyte. In a device that size.
Or you can get those hard drives that are basically the size of a stick of RAM that are 2-3 terabytes.
Yeah, but they cost about £500. The M-SATA ones.
That sounds like it, yes.
They're well expensive. But
I didn't say they were cheap.
I suspect that they've got something that they're worked around. Like it probably, the cartridges themselves probably will hold a good amount of data, but that would also make it difficult for the third-party developers because when you've got games that are coming out on PlayStation and Xbox that are 80 gigs almost, including the patches and their DLC, they're going to really struggle with some of these games. If it's only like 8 gig, we'll have to wait and see.
Another feature we haven't really touched on is battery life. What have they stuck in there to give it enough battery life that, for example, in the trailer, a man could take it onto a plane?
You have to.
They've put the Hulk in there.
That America does do a lot of short flights, like an hour or two. That guy was not on an intercontinental flight.
He was at one of the little flights that lasts like 30 minutes. So you get on board, and then you sit down, and then you've landed, and you get off again. So by the time he's put his switch down, lifted the little hinge to place it down, it's like, and prepare yourself for landing.
To be honest, I'm a little bit worried about his safety procedure because everyone should know that your lunch tray should be in the upright position when the plane's taken off.
Yeah, exactly.
Awful. Nintendo encouraging poor flight safety. How could you?
Well, at least it doesn't explode like the Note.
That's very true. Well, we don't know that yet, do we?
That's a good
What if
point.
it's using the same battery technology?
I don't think they would approach Samsung. It's like, we need someone for our batteries. Don't speak to Samsung. Okay, don't do it.
I think they'd probably be quite far along by this point to suddenly change their battery plans.
I say it's gonna have at most a battery size of, if you got to compare it to a tablet.
AAs.
So
10 AA batteries.
Yeah, it's going to be like an old Game Boy. You have to put all these AA batteries in it. If you look what an iPad has got, if you look at, say, an iPad Mini, because that's probably this close to its size, that's got, I think, a 3,000 milliamp battery. Some smartphones have got that size battery, and they last 8 hours, depending on usage. But we're talking about a machine that's solely for games, so it's got to be optimized for games. Then it's got to take into account screen brightness. Can you change or adjust the brightness of the screen? That's going to affect the battery, and so on and so forth. Do you have to crank it? Maybe you have to crank the little switch controllers that charges it.
Crank
powered.
it on the floor. No, that's the different song. Ignore me. I just wanted to, have something to say.
Or, because it's Nintendo, you could feed it money and it will charge itself.
It'll come with a Wii Fit pad, but it'll be called the Switch Fit pad, and you just got to run on it to keep it going.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
A mini treadmill.
Well, they've done that before. There was like a promotional thing that EE think I did, and it was basically like I think it was a bracelet, a little bracelet, and it had a little USB on it, and you just wear it, and it would only have like 500 milliamp battery in it, so bugger all really. But when you moved about, it would charge it. It was connecting energy, and then you could charge your phone with it. So you never know. Nintendo are quite innovative.
Is everyone ready for my joke?
Go on then.
Best joke ever. I can't wait for the Nintendo Light Switch.
I saw that on Twitter, and it wasn't funny then.
Hey.
You should have
It's
said
clever.
You should have said like they pulled the wool over our eyes. It's like I can't wait for Nintendo bait and switch.
That was not funny.
God damn it! Well, you guys go to hell.
You're all shit.
Fine.
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
just
I
because
don't
you haven't
see
got a
you
sense of
coming.
humour.
It doesn't
No, I don't.
come with a better joke.
Hey,
No.
while we're here, Legend of Zelda looks pretty.
It won't look like
New
that.
trailer today. Anyone see that?
Nope.
No? Alright
Nope.
then.
no, I saw
Looks-
the part of the trailer that was on the Switch trailer.
There was it had another one of those things where they're like, look how open world it is, by like having Link walk up to the edge of a cliff, and when I was looking at it, I was thinking, that doesn't actually look like that big of an open world. You can see that there's like quite close in is like I don't know, the volcano area, I don't know what they're going to call it, but like you can see the volcano, and to the left there's what looked like the sandy area, so it might not be as large an open world as they're trying to portray. It does look like a cool game though. Not enough to convince me to buy a Switch. PS4 for me, and even then that'll just sit in the corner until Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption and Persona 5 are out.
Mine's just for Netflix.
Oh, Netflix is a good idea.
Yeah, it's very handy.
3 minutes, well, 2 minutes left now. Any closing remarks?
I think actually, overall, looking at it, this is probably something that Nintendo really needed,
Yeah, I agree.
because they can't win the console market because of Sony and Microsoft, but they are doing really well on the handheld market, even though they're being pretty battered about because of the mobile market. So them combining both is pretty good, and people will look at that and go, shit, I can play these really high, powerful, good-looking games, really well-made games on the go, or I can come back and I can hook it up to my big, sexy 4K TV and play it from there. So yeah, people would look at that.
Is it going to be a Wii, or is it going to be a Wii U? That's the question.
I don't know. It's too early to tell. Wait
Tis
for hands-on.
worth- Yes, which shouldn't be too far away considering it comes out in 5 months.
They'll delay it. Have Nintendo ever delayed anything?
I don't think they have they? Well, apart from Zelda, that got delayed, didn't it?
Apart from games, I mean, when they've said, like the Wii U and the Wii, for example, when they said it's coming out this month of the year, it has come out. I'll have to have a look at it.
Could tell you.
We shall find out for next time.
We shall find out for next week, which I believe will be games which will suck. Yes, it will be, because it's the last week of October. So soon, maybe we should make it a Halloween special, a spooky podcast. No? Okay.
We can make it spooky because which games are going to be so bad that you die?
That's creepy.
Thank you.
That's the point. And that's also the end of the show. So thank you, listeners, for sticking with us all the way, even through all the war talk at the beginning. I've been your host, Hamiltonius, and joining me tonight were Ace, Cal, and MZ. Now, you know the drill. If you want to follow the Grincast on Twitter, you can find us at Grincast, and you can also find GameGrin on Twitter at GameGrin. GameGrin also has a Facebook page, just search GameGrin, and a YouTube channel, just search GameGrin, where the podcast is posted up in video format. Remember to go to GameGrin.com for all the breaking news, articles, reviews, and previews, and remember to check out Game On magazines, which do lots of lovely specific magazines on games like World of Warcraft. I think we've got a Pokemon one, and an Overwatch one is in the works, but shh. And remember to check out the Film and TV mag. Other than that, that's the end of the show, and we shall see you next week. But until then, game on.